We have a strong relationship from our leadership to the leadership here and straight through to the business community. We want to build on that. We think that obviously the United Kingdom is going to look at developing trade relationships after the exit, after Brexit, and we want to be a part of that as part of the GCC. So we think that definitely there's lots of room for growth, and we're here specifically at a very high level delegation to engage with the government in the United Kingdom and also the business community.
All of the Gulf states, the GCC countries, are looking to attract inward investment. What are the main selling points of Bahrain?
A couple of selling points. Number one, I would say we offer 100% ownership, so a very liberal ownership regime, where only 2% of our business activities are restricted to national ownership. So 98% are open to foreign ownership. So a very liberal, and investors like that. They don't have to take a partner, they can invest on their own. I'd say the second element is cost of doing business. We estimate that Bahrain is about 40 to 30% cheaper, whether it is accommodation, it's office rent and so forth, whether it's industry or financial sector, than neighboring cities. So that's a second attracting factor. Third is, I say, and everybody will say strategic location, but if you look at the GCC, 50% of the $1.5 trillion GDP in that region is in Saudi Arabia, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And so Bahrain is really 30 minutes away from the Eastern Province. So a lot of corporates, besides choosing to locate in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, choose Bahrain as a port of call and very close to accessing Aramco or even Riyadh. So that proximity. And I'd say the fourth element is the human talent, the skill level. We have a very high participation of our local workforce. We've seen companies who, unlike in other areas, would locate in Bahrain and be able to employ 50, 60, 70% of their workforce from locals.
And what would you say to those people who say, well, Bahrain's got a bit of a reputation for human rights, don't really want to go there?
Well, I'm an economist, I'm not a politician. I would say, come visit the country, judge for yourself. The fact that we have major corporates coming to Bahrain, like Amazon Web Services, like DHL, these are corporates that have chosen the country not to do us lip service, but actually because they see the merits of our economic strategy and frankly the openness of the country. So I always invite people to see for themselves.
Why is it so important for you to diversify the economy away from oil and gas?
Well, you know, oil is now at $50, $60. There was a period where we saw $100 oil. And governments were used to that level of spending at $100 oil. The view, I think, shared by all of the countries in the GCC is that may not come back for a long while. Some will say never. So you have to adapt to a new reality in which it's a lower oil price, budgets have to shrink, and if you are dependent on just the oil industry, you'll see no growth for the foreseeable future. So you have to diversify to have different engines of growth. Bahrain, by virtue of having less oil than the neighbors, started this way back in the 70s. So today, 80% of our GDP is not reliant on oil. We only have 20% of our GDP reliant on oil. It served us well.